Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the latest episode of Box in One. I'm your host, Ronald Salgado. Things will be a little bit different today. Primate and Nazim are taking the day off and have, rightly or wrongly, trusted me with taking this episode solo today. So today I'll be talking about the Heat and their 3-1 series lead over the Boston Celtics, and the Lakers and Nuggets series, which is now sitting at 2-1 for the Lakers after the Nuggets victory yesterday, which if you're listening, this will probably be up on Thursday, so it would have been 2 days ago, but I mean, it doesn't really make a difference. So let's start with the Celtics and Heat game. So the Heat pulled off the victory, 112 to 109, in what ended up being a pretty exciting game. The Heat led for most of it. This was the first time the Heat ever led after the first half. Tyler Hero had a massive game for the Heat and by and large carried them for most of the game. And then at the end, the Goran Dragic and Jimmy Butler stepped up and made some big plays. Jimmy Butler hitting some huge free throws down the stretch. Missed one, which made the game a little bit more interesting. But the Heat have been great all throughout the bubble, and this just goes to show the type of team that they are. A lot of what they've been doing has been built around the depth of their team, and it's really showed in this series against the Celtics. And this was one of those things I don't really want to always bring it back to the Raptors, but I mean, this was one of the things that I was kind of hoping for the Raptors, is that their depth could carry them in a series against the Celtics. Obviously, this is a little bit different type of team than what the Raptors were playing, because the Celtics were shorthanded. They were without Gordon Hayward, so it wasn't necessarily the same lineup. But my hope was that when the Raptors played the Celtics, that what they could do was 1 through 8. When they matched up against the Celtics, they would win. They would win that battle. But the Heat have been doing a really good job all season, for the past couple of years, actually, of just managing minutes, and a little bit differently than maybe what other teams have done with the load management, giving guys the day off. And really, what they've done is no one player is really taking a huge chunk of the minutes. I think Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo are the only ones that are over 30 minutes. But I mean, it's mostly a balanced attack. I mean, today, if you look at the stat sheet, Tyler Hero had 37 points, had a huge game. I mean, just to take a second to talk about Hero. To be honest with you, when he was drafted, I was a hater. I maybe it was a suit. I don't know. I did see him play at Kentucky a little bit, and I thought maybe he was just more of a shooter. But he's really proved me wrong, and I'm really starting to like the kid and some of the things that he can do on the ball. Taking the ball up the court, and some of the passes. I didn't realize that he had the vision that he showed. But he's really showed me that there's another completely different aspect to his game other than just the shooting. So he had 37 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. But he carried the team when they really needed it. Both teams were struggling shooting through the first half. I think they were both, Miami was mid 40s. Celtics were just at 40%. So the Tyler Hero lift from the second quarter on was really big for them. But you look at the rest of the stat sheet. Goran Dragic had 22. Bam Adebayo had 20, and Jimmy Butler had 24. So a really balanced attack, which they only played 8 or 9 guys today. Solomon Hill, if you really count him, he had 4 minutes. But they did use a little bit of their depth there, different from what the Raptors did, which was just riding their stars. And Bam Adebayo did play 41 minutes, Dragic 39. So I mean, kind of goes against what I was saying, but still the point still stands of it was a really balanced attack, and it wasn't really all necessarily going through one guy, although when Hero was rolling, I mean, they were just riding the hot hand. So just looking at the Celtics, like, That first half from Jason Tatum was it was awful. He didn't have any points. He didn't score his first basket, which was a three, until like six minutes and 40 seconds to go in the third quarter, and that really hurt them, and it put them in a tough position. Um, I mean, he picked it up in the second half. Um, it made the game really close. I questioned some of the shots that he took at the end, and some of just his shot making ability in general at the end was, it wasn't there, and the Celtics ended up losing because of it. But the turnovers were a massive thing for the Celtics, where you just can't overcome 19 turnovers against a team like the Heat. It's you really have to what take your chances. You can't be giving the ball right back to them, and that was a lot of what happened near the end of the game. It's just they struggled holding onto the ball, and within the last couple of minutes they were just giving the ball right back to the Heat. They didn't shoot bad, 47%. But those turnovers, that's what the difference was, because you know shooting 47%, you get a couple more possessions. Maybe the Celtics win this game, and maybe it's a different series. But as it stands now, it's 3-1. The way it's really looking is, I don't see the Celtics coming back. Miami just really looks like a much fresher team, and it shows. It's evident, like, really down the stretch in the last few minutes, where the Celtics just can't execute the way they do normally. And I don't know if Tatum's tired. I can't really say one way or another, but yeah, it's for me, and Celtics fans, you might disagree, and we've seen it all through these playoffs, on the West side with the Nuggets, and with what the Raptors were able to do to the Celtics. Nobody's ever really out of it, but the Heat are such a well coached team. They're playing so good right now that I'm going to say it. This series is pretty much over. I'm probably going to look like an idiot, a week from now, where the Celtics come storming back and make this interesting. But I'm not really seeing it. Let's see where this goes. And maybe we can just move on and talk a little bit about the Lakers and Nuggets series, because that's really become a little bit of an interesting series. Personally, I didn't think that the Nuggets necessarily stood a chance. My feeling was, with the way they played in the two series before, that they might be a little bit tired, and against a team like the Lakers, who likes to get up and down, with a guy like LeBron and AD, both carrying the load. Um, I thought this would maybe be a little bit of an easy series, and even talking to some people, they thought the same. They thought, they really wanted the Clippers to be the team that moved on into the next round, because they felt that would be the more even matchup. You get Kawhi and Paul George, and some of the other talent, Lou Williams, Montrezl Harrell on the Clippers. Obviously, that really didn't work out, but instead, like, this Nuggets team, um, they've been playing well. I don't know what to say about Jokic and Jamal Murray. They've stepped up huge in this series. Jamal Murray he's playing out of his mind. He goes from a guy who averages 18 and a half, 4.8 and 4 all season, to now a guy who's in this series, I think he's at 24.7, 7 assists, 5 rebounds. I'm pretty sure that's the series numbers. He's on an insane usage. And the biggest thing is, when you look at his numbers inside of 5 feet, he's shooting 61%. And I think you really have to look at what he did during the time off, and apparently putting on 14 pounds of muscle, and really working hard during the break. It's really showed that it's helped his game so much, and just some of the things that he can do. And Mike Malone said something that he Jamal Murray he was a little bit annoyed with Mike Malone, just saying that he's inconsistent, but annoyed because he knows that Mike Malone is right. And throughout these playoffs, he's been a lot more of a consistent performer, and yeah, he's really turned the series around, or not turn the series around, but turn their playoff hopes around. And then you look at Jokic as well. He's also increased his production. Um, to he's also averaging mid 20s. His rebounding numbers are a little bit down, and that has a lot to do with in the first couple of games, having two big guys like JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard in there. I'm sure that takes away some of your rebounds, makes things a little bit more difficult in there. But I mean, he's scoring more. He's shooting well from inside, 54% in the series, and it's hard not to like this Nuggets team. Um, are they gonna win? Uh, you know, I've been back and forth on this. I know a lot of people are falling in love with the team, but I feel that at some point, um, the mileage of the past month or so is really going to start to take its toll on the team. It's going to be hard for um, I think for Jokic and Murray to carry such a big load. Um, Maybe as long as some of the other guys, if Michael Porter Jr., um, somebody like a Morris, Jeremy Grant, who had a big game, and really helped out in game three, and was a big reason that they were able to that they were able to come back a little bit in this series and bring it to 2-1. I think they're going to need a little bit more from that supporting cast. And speaking of supporting cast, I think when you look at the Lakers, that's a big thing with them. They really need help from LeBron and AD. They've been getting it done. AD had that huge shot in game two, which I know Jamal Murray feels that this could easily be a 2-1 series right now in favor of the Nuggets, because he told reporters that, and if it wasn't for that shot from AD, this could be a completely different series, and we could be having a completely different conversation right now about where this is going to go. But the Lakers are also going to need some help from their supporting cast. They've been Danny Green, similar to last year. He's not giving them a whole lot necessarily. I believe game two maybe he had like 11 points, which I guess that's around what you can expect from him. Kuzma's around the same thing, but it's really more than that. Like you look at the last game, they got out rebounded by a pretty significant margin. By the Nuggets. And if you just watch some of the clips, it was just the Nuggets hustling a little bit more, a little bit more than the Lakers did, getting to those balls, and you're you really need to rebound, and you need that supporting cast. Otherwise, you're not going to win. But I just feel that overall, when you look at these two teams, and if you're asking me to pick, who am I putting my money on? Uh, it's usually going to be the team with somebody like LeBron in there, and maybe at some point you'd have to say that LeBron's going to be on. He's going to start taking those losses in the playoffs. I don't think that's right now, especially with a running mate like Anthony Davis next to him, and Anthony Davis has been playing great. So they just need a little bit from their bench. I'm waiting to see a little bit more from Rondo. Um, Kuzma's shot selection hasn't always been the greatest, but I think he's going to be one of those guys that needs to do it. And obviously, Danny Green with that playoff pedigree from the Spurs, from the Raptors, he needs to really step up and make these playoffs something to remember, I guess, because as it stands right now, it's going to make their lives a lot difficult if it's just the two guys carrying the load. So yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. Like I just it's been a while since we've had an episode. I think well, not a while, but I mean I think we're going on a week now. So I just wanted to make sure we put something out there. Update some of these series, which are just they're exciting. And there's still there aside from maybe the Celtics and the Miami series, which I obviously think is going to Miami, but I'm still not 100% sure what's going to happen with this Lakers Nuggets series. So um, I think by the next time we talk, so I think our next episode will probably be released on um, Monday. We're planning on recording a Sunday episode with everybody. So by then, I think we'll have a better idea of what where we're going to go with these playoffs, or in the case of the Lakers Nuggets series, maybe maybe not necessarily, but um, yeah, this is going to be a short one, but I thank you all for watching or listening. So if you're listening, this episode is also available on YouTube if you want to watch there. But please remember to subscribe on YouTube or to our podcast on your podcast app of choice, and also follow us on Instagram, Box in One Pod, and just send us your feedback if there's anything you want to hear us talk about, any sports that you think we need to talk about a little bit more. We definitely look forward to hearing from you guys. The response has been great so far on Instagram, and hopefully having these videos up, some of you are enjoying this and can interact with us a little bit more. But so we'll be seeing you soon, and thanks for watching or listening.